Has Kenneth Copeland really been sentenced to life in prison? That's the question on everyone's mind after a series of shocking videos and social media posts claimed the prominent televangelist had finally been brought to justice. Copeland, known for his flamboyant preaching style and his controversial prosperity gospel teachings, has long been a lightning rod for criticism, his lavish lifestyle and questionable financial dealings raising eyebrows for decades. But is there any truth to the rumors of his imprisonment? Let's dive into the story and uncover the facts behind the headlines. Recently, the internet has been ablaze with rumors of Kenneth Copeland's downfall. Videos claiming he was sentenced to life in prison for financial fraud and tax evasion, even collapsing dramatically in the courtroom upon hearing the verdict, have gone viral. But before you start celebrating the downfall of this controversial figure, there's something you need to know. Those videos are fake. They're AI-generated fabrications, clever manipulations designed to exploit the public's fascination with celebrity scandals, and the long-standing criticism of Copeland's ministry. There are no credible news reports, no court documents, no official statements to corroborate these claims. In fact, Copeland's ministry continues to operate as usual, hosting events and broadcasting his sermons, a clear indication that he's not currently residing in a prison cell. But while the imprisonment rumors may be false, Kenneth Copeland is far from out of the spotlight. He's facing a barrage of criticism and scrutiny, from his controversial comments on the COVID-19 pandemic and Joe Biden's presidency, to his ongoing health issues and his lavish lifestyle. And now, he's even made a shocking prediction about his own death, claiming he has a deal with God that guarantees him a long and prosperous life. In 2024, Kenneth Copeland faced a serious health scare, a ruptured appendix that required a 10-day hospital stay. He's described the experience as a wake-up call, a reminder of his own mortality. But instead of succumbing to fear or despair, he says he relied on humor and prayer to get him through. He's even joked about cracking jokes with the doctor while being wheeled into surgery, a testament to his unwavering optimism and his seemingly unshakable faith. Copeland has stated publicly that he has a covenant with God, an agreement that he will live to be 120 years old and die peacefully on December 6, 2056. He's expressed complete confidence in this divine timetable, claiming that God has promised him a long and healthy life. Copeland, quote, health challenges, however, haven't been limited to his ruptured appendix. He's also revealed that he relies on a pacemaker due to stress-related heart issues brought on by his demanding preaching schedule. He's even claimed that a blocked artery in his heart miraculously bypassed itself, a testament, he says, to the power of divine intervention. But these health revelations have sparked controversy among his followers, many of whom question why he needs medical intervention if, as he preaches, God can heal all illnesses through faith alone. Copeland's teachings emphasize the power of faith and positive confession to overcome sickness and disease. He's often stated that healing is a covenant right for believers, and that sickness is a result of sin or a lack of faith. His reliance on a pacemaker, therefore, seems to contradict his own teachings, leading some to accuse him of hypocrisy and exploiting his followers' faith for financial gain. And then there's the issue of Kenneth Copeland's lavish lifestyle. He's been called the wealthiest pastor in America, his estimated net worth reaching as high as $750 million. He lives in a sprawling mansion, travels in private jets, and enjoys a life of luxury that most of his followers can only dream of. Copeland has repeatedly defended his extravagant lifestyle, claiming that it's necessary for his ministry, allowing him to travel the world and spread the gospel to millions. He's argued that commercial flights are an unsuitable environment for a preacher to prepare for his sermons, citing disruptive passengers and a lack of privacy. He's even joked about wanting to punch out unruly passengers, a statement that hardly aligns with his image as a man of God. His purchase of a $50 million Gulfstream jet from Tyler Perry, the filmmaker, sparked further outrage, with critics questioning the use of ministry funds for such extravagant purchases. Copeland's response to the criticism? Well, that's none of your business. He's also claimed that Perry offered him such a good deal on the jet that he simply couldn't refuse. These flippant responses, these dismissive pronouncements, only serve to fuel the public's perception of Copeland as an out-of-touch elitist who's more concerned with accumulating wealth than with serving his followers. And the private jets aren't the only source of controversy surrounding Copeland's lavish lifestyle. He also lives in a sprawling 18,000 square foot mansion, complete with 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a tennis court, and a private boat dock. And here's the kicker: the mansion is tax-free. Thanks to a loophole in Texas law, Copeland's church technically owns the property, classifying it as a clergy residence and qualifying for a 100% tax exemption. While the property is assessed at a mere $125,000, real estate experts estimate its actual market value to be closer to $7 million. This means that Copeland, one of the wealthiest pastors in America, is paying less than $3,000 a year in property taxes on a multi-million-dollar estate, while his followers, many of whom struggle to make ends meet, are footing the bill. Copeland has defended the tax exemption, claiming that the mansion is a necessary part of his ministry, a place where he can entertain guests, hold meetings, and prepare for his sermons. He's even quoted as saying that when people drive by his house, they'll know there is a God. This statement, with its implication that material wealth is a sign of divine favor, has only further fueled the criticism and accusations of hypocrisy. Kenneth Copeland's ministry and his personal life have been the subject of numerous investigations and media exposés. In 2008, his ministry was investigated by the U.S. Senate for potential tax evasion, though he was ultimately cleared of any wrongdoing. He's been criticized for his use of ministry funds for personal expenses, including lavish vacations and luxury cars. He's also been accused of misleading his followers about the use of donations intended for charitable causes, such as disaster relief efforts in Haiti. Comedian John Oliver, in a segment on his show Last Week Tonight, skewered Copeland for his opulent lifestyle, his questionable financial practices, and his controversial teachings on faith healing. And Copeland's own followers have expressed concern about his apparent hypocrisy, questioning why he relies on medical interventions like a pacemaker if he truly believes in the power of faith healing. Even his wife, Gloria, has suffered from health issues, including a traumatic brain injury from a car accident, further fueling the debate about Copeland's teachings on health and healing. Copeland has been married 3 times, a fact that has drawn criticism from some within the Christian community. His current wife, Gloria, plays an active role in his ministry, co-hosting his television broadcasts and often preaching alongside him. Their children, John and Kelly, are also involved in the ministry, further solidifying the Copeland family's influence and control over their vast financial empire. At the heart of Kenneth Copeland's teachings is the prosperity gospel, the belief that faith, spoken declarations, and generous giving can unlock God's blessings and bring material wealth, health, and success. He teaches that words have creative power and that by speaking positive affirmations, believers can manifest their desires into reality. He interprets biblical verses about prosperity, such as 3 John 1:2, as promises of guaranteed financial wealth, a view that has been widely criticized by theologians and other Christian leaders. Copeland also teaches that Jesus' death on the cross not only secured salvation from sin, but also guaranteed physical healing and financial prosperity for believers. He often frames poverty and sickness as curses that can be broken through faith, positive confession, and of course, generous donations to his ministry. Copeland's teachings have drawn widespread criticism from both within and outside the Christian community. Critics argue that his interpretation of Scripture is distorted and self-serving, that he preaches a health and wealth gospel that's more about personal gain than about genuine spiritual transformation. They accuse him of exploiting vulnerable followers, preying on their hopes and fears, and encouraging them to give money they can't afford in exchange for empty promises of divine blessings. His lavish lifestyle, his tax-free mansion, his private jets. All of these are seen as evidence of his hypocrisy, symbols of his own self-enrichment at the expense of his followers' faith. Critics argue that his teachings create a transactional relationship with God, where blessings are earned through financial contributions and verbal affirmations, rather than through genuine faith and obedience. They also point out that his emphasis on positive confession can lead to victim blaming, suggesting that those who are sick or poor are somehow responsible for their own suffering due to a lack of faith or insufficient giving. So, how did Kenneth Copeland become so wealthy? The answer, like so much else about his ministry, is shrouded in controversy and a lack of transparency. His ministry, Kenneth Copeland Ministries, KCM, and its affiliated Eagle Mountain International Church receive millions of dollars in tax-free donations each year. These donations come from a variety of sources, including church services, conventions, online giving platforms, television broadcasts, and international outreach campaigns. Copeland also generates significant revenue through the sale of books, DVDs, CDs, and other ministry materials. He's authored dozens of books on faith, prosperity, and healing, and his teachings are broadcast worldwide through television, radio, and online platforms. KCM also hosts large-scale conventions and events, which attract thousands of attendees and generate substantial income through offerings and merchandise sales. And in a surprising twist, Copeland has even mentioned receiving income from natural gas royalties on the land where his ministry is located. While he credits God for his wealth, critics question the ethics and transparency of his financial practices, arguing that he's exploiting his followers' faith for personal gain. So, while the rumors of Kenneth Copeland's imprisonment may be false, the questions surrounding his finances, his teachings, and his lavish lifestyle remain. What do you think is really going on behind the scenes of this multi-million-dollar ministry empire? Is Copeland a genuine man of God, or is he a con artist preying on the vulnerable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of televangelism and controversy, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more investigative reports and untold stories.